Students, in our last class, under chapter Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants, we were learning post-fertilization changes. Under that post-fertilization stages, we were learning about seed. If you remember, we were learning structure of seed, and already some part of this seed we have already discussed. That seed is a product of fertilization because seed is produced only after fertilization. Then structure of seed also we have learnt, if you remember. Structure of seed we discussed. Then let us see types of seeds. There are two types of seeds mainly. That is albuminous seeds. There are mainly two types of seeds based on whether endosperm is still remaining or endosperm is completely used. That is with endosperm, without endosperm. So albuminous seeds, okay. Non-albuminous seeds. So you can also call albumin is also called as endosperm. So albuminous seeds are also called endospermic seeds or endospermous seeds. So definitely non-endospermous, yeah, non-endospermic seeds. Meaning is very simple. During development of embryo, because you know embryo becomes seed. Okay, so embryo was a part of ovule, so ovule becomes a seed. During the development of embryo, if entire endosperm, all the endosperm is used as a food, no endosperm left, then it will be called as non-endospermic. Name only says non means without endosperm. So endosperm is completely used here because embryo, for the development of embryo, it requires a food. The food is endosperm. If the embryo has used 100% endosperm as food, then there is no endosperm left there, is it? So that seed where no endosperm is there, that is called non-endospermic seed. Okay, so like you can take example of pea. Pea seeds, groundnut. Okay, all these are non-endosperms. There is no endosperm left. During development of seed or during development of embryo, all the endosperm is used. Whereas albuminous seeds or endospermous seeds, still albumin or endosperm is left even after formation of seed. Even after formation of seed, some endosperm is still there, still left there. So that should be called as endospermic seeds. Okay, like you can take example of beet, maize, castor. Castor means castor oil. We say that is castor oil means ಹರಳೆಣ್ಣೆ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. Castor oil, like barley also. So in wheat, maize, castor, and barley, endosperm is still left, so it should be called as endospermic seeds. Simple, in simple terms, this contains endosperm. Here it doesn't contain endosperm. That's all. Next, in last class, I already told you that after formation of seed, some parts of the ovule is still left because you know ovule becomes seeds. You know that ovules finally become seeds. So the parts of ovule, some parts of the ovule, what is there? It will be there even after formation of seed. So ovulal ಯಾವ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇತ್ತು ಸೀಡ್ ಆದಮೇಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಆ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ micropyle is there already. I told you last class. Micropyle is there. If you remember, the structure of seed there. I told you last class. You remember? Okay, this part what is there? No, that is micropyle. Micro means small. Pyle means opening. It was there in the ovule, meant for entry of pollen tube. Still, it is there even after formation of seed. I already told you in last class. Function of micropyle is during germination of seeds, during germination of seeds, seed has to absorb water because when you are sowing seed, ನೀವು ಬೀಜನ ಬಿತ್ತನೆ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಮಣ್ಣಲ್ಲಿ, okay, when you are sowing seed, you will provide water, okay, and soil will provide minerals. So whatever minerals are there, okay, that seed will use for the development. Micropyle is meant for what? For two purposes. Already we discussed. Because seeds during germination, it needs oxygen. Respiration should happen in seeds. Germination or germinating seeds will respire or breathe. No? So for breathing of seeds or respiration of seeds, oxygen is required. Oxygen, and also seed has to absorb water and it should swell. Before germination, seed absorbs water and it swells. Swells on the volume of the seed increases. So that is then here and at this point or at this point, the germination tube will come out. Tube will come. That is germination tube. Germination tube comes out, but for formation of this germination tube, oxygen is required. Oxygen has to enter the seed, and also water should enter the seed. For entry of water and oxygen, micropyle is still left, which was there in the ovule. Now also it is there in the seed. Then ovules had two protective coverings called integuments. Till now, seeds also contain that. Integument later changes to seed coat. Sometimes single will be there, seed coat. Sometimes two will be there. So we have got seed coats. In some seeds only one coat. In some seeds two coats will be there. So it is coat or coats, seed coat, which is protective, which protects the seed. Seed coat is like an outer cover which protects the seed. That is meant for protection of seed. Okay, already I told you. It protects the seed. Okay. Then this is what we call embryonal axis, and these two are already told you filaments. And what is the name of these seed coats? Seed coats, I already told you, the outer coat is called testa, the inner coat is called tegmen. Outermost coat is testa, and the inner coat is tegmen. Okay, so this is a structure of seed. Now next, some interesting points about seed we have to discuss. What is that interesting points? As the seed starts germinating, as the seed starts germinating by getting oxygen and water, seed will start germinating. At that time, whatever water content is there in the seed, it will reduce. Okay, how much? Suppose 80% water was there in the seed or 60% water was there, it will reduce and come up to 10 to 15%. Okay, as seed starts germinating, the water content of the seed reduces to 10 to 15%. 10 to 15%. No, it comes to 10 to 15% water content. Okay, so you can consider 10 to 15% moisture or water content by weight. Weight, if you consider weight of the seed, 10 to 15% of moisture or water content will reduce by mass. Okay, so that why water content should reduce? If water content is there, seed cannot be there for longer period. Viability of the seed or storing period of the seed reduces because if more water is there, fungus will easily attack. Okay, the seeds will get spoiled. So dry seeds you can keep for longer period. Ordinary fruit like grapes, fruits which you bring from market, You can keep for maximum 1 or 2 weeks. But if it is a dry grapes, you can keep it for 1 or 2 years. So the period of the shelf life can be increased. Storing period can be increased. So that is why when a seed starts germinating, the water content of the seed slowly reduces. And what about the metabolic rate? Metabolic rate slows down. When the seed starts germinating, water content of the seed reduces, so seed becomes dry. Then metabolic rate, whatever process is happening in the seed, biological process, biochemical process of the seed, that will reduce. Metabolism means an overall process which happens in the seed. ಒಂದು ಸೀಡಲ್ಲಾಗುವ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ರಿಯೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಮೆಟಬಾಲಿಸಮ್ ಬರೋದು. The metabolism reduces. So metabolic rate reduces, and in most of the time, if conditions are favorable for the seed, conditions are favorable for the seed means seed requires, when you are sowing a seed requires water, that is moisture content. Seed requires minerals. No? Then pH of the soil should be proper. Then only seed will germinate. Oxygen is required, water is required, pH of the soil should be proper. Then minerals are required for seeds to germinate. These are favorable conditions. If all these conditions are available to seeds, then only it will germinate. What if these conditions are not available? That is what we call unfavorable conditions. ಸೀಡ್ಸಿಗೆ ಜರ್ಮಿನೇಟ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಬೇಕೋ ಅದು ಸಿಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ, if it doesn't get such conditions, then seed doesn't germinate. Then what happens? Seed will undergo resting period called dormancy. Under unfavorable conditions. Under unfavorable conditions, seed will undergo dormancy. Dormancy meaning resting period. What is the meaning resting period? If conditions are not suitable for germination of seeds, then seed doesn't germinate. It will undergo resting period, like a sleep. Seed remains as it is, but it doesn't germinate. How long? The dormancy of seed can be 1 or 2 years, or it can be sometimes thousands of years. Do you believe? I'll give some examples today, where the seed was in dormancy period for 10,000 years. Recently, after 10,000 years, it germinated and produced a new plant. That example also we have. That I will give you example today. Okay. So I just told you the dormancy period. Then till when it should continue dormancy period? Till condition becomes favorable. ಆ ಸೀಡ್ಗೆ ಫೇವರೇಬಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಸಿಗೋ ತನಕ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಸಿಗೋ ತನಕ ಮಾತ್ರ ಡಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸಿ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್. If you provide all those conditions, then it will break the dormancy, means it will come out of dormancy and it will germinate. Simple. Conditions are there, it will germinate. If no conditions, it will not germinate. Okay, like it is like saying, if you have a benefit, you will go. If you don't have benefit, you will not go, like that. So, when conditions are not favorable, unfavorable conditions, seed will undergo dormancy, resting period. Okay, so dormancy is one way it is better, because farmer can store the seed for longer period. What if seed after release from the plant or after release from the fruit, immediately if it germinates, then farmer cannot store that seed for longer. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಜರ್ಮಿನೇಟ್ ಆದರೆ ಆ ಸೀಡನ್ನು ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So dormancy period and reduction of water content is very much required for the seed, because if more water is there, you cannot store. Dry seeds you can store for longer period. So water content should reduce, metabolic activity should reduce. Okay, so respiration, all that process, what happens in the seed should reduce. Then if conditions are favorable, it will germinate. If conditions are not favorable, it will not germinate, so that you can store that seed for longer period. So dormancy is one way it is helpful to the plant. So if conditions are favorable, what are favorable conditions for the plants? What are the favorable conditions for the plant? Favorable conditions are moisture, oxygen, temperature. Oxygen is required for the seeds to germinate. Moisture or water content is required. Minerals are required. Then proper temperature is required. pH of the soil should be proper. Okay, etc. All these are favorable conditions. So when you are sowing a seed, ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಬೀಜನ ಬಿತ್ತನೆ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಮಣ್ಣಲ್ಲಿ the soil should contain all those conditions. Then only it is favorable. Oxygen is required for germination of seeds. Water is required. Oxygen and water enters through microcoil. Then suitable temperature is required. Then minerals are required in the soil. pH of the soil should be proper. Yeah, like some seeds will germinate only when pH is neutral, or some will germinate only when pH is acidic, like that. Those are favorable conditions. If you provide all those conditions to seed, then seed germinates. Seed germinates. ಅಂದರೆ ಬೀಜ ಮೊಳಕೆ ಹೊಡಿತದೆ ಅಂತ. Germination will happen only when all the conditions suitable for germination of seeds are available. That is why under favorable conditions seed will germinate. Under unfavorable conditions seed will not germinate. It will undergo resting period called dormancy period. Yes, you understood what I am saying. Yes, then slowly ovules mature into seeds. Ovary becomes a fruit. Ovules become seeds and ovary becomes fruit. So if you remember, it was like this. So this was the ovary style stigma. Okay, so the ovary contained ovules. These are all ovules. These ovules will become seeds later. And the entire ovary becomes a fruit. No? Then, what about when the formation of fruit? When fruit is formed, the wall of the ovary, what is there? This is the wall of the ovary. The wall of the ovary becomes wall of the fruit. You imagine this fruit as guava fruit. ಅಂದರೆ ಪೇರಲೆ ಹಣ್ಣು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ಸೀಬೆ ಹಣ್ಣು ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಕರೀತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಪೇರಲೆ ಹಣ್ಣು, guava. Okay, in guava you just imagine that the wall of the ovary becomes wall of the fruit. What is called pericarp. Wall of the fruit is called pericarp. Peri means sides. Pericarp. Okay. So before we go to this, one point I have to tell you. In some seeds, some part of the ovules will be left, I told you. Like microcoil is still there in the seed. Integuments became seed coat. Then what about in some plants? Nucellus will be remaining as it is even after formation of seed. ಅಂದರೆ ಸೀಡ್ ಆದಮೇಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನ್ಯೂಸೆಲ್ಲಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಎಂಬ್ರಿಯೋ ಸ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಲಿ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಎಂಬ್ರಿಯೋ ಸ್ಯಾಕ್ ನ್ಯೂಸೆಲ್ಲಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ರಿಮೇನ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ remnants of nucellus. Remnants are the remaining part of nucellus will still be there in some plants like black pepper and beet. Okay, so in black pepper and wheat, and in those plants, nucellus is persistent. Persistent means remained even after formation of seed. The nucellus was a part of ovule. When ovule become a seed, even after formation of seed, still nucellus is remaining. So that is why we say nucellus is persistent. Means it remained there. So that is what we call perisperm. Remember, for one mark I will ask what is perisperm. In black pepper and wheat, nucellus of the ovule still remains even after formation of seed. So seed contains nucellus, which was there in the ovule. There is nucellus ovule alittu. Seed armelu kuda ide in black pepper and wheat, not in all the plants. Black pepper, wheat. So that remaining nucellus, remnant of nucellus or persistent nucellus is what we call perisperm. Remember, perisperm. Okay, so this is what I have tried to tell you. Now let us come to this point. Then ovule becomes seeds, entire ovary becomes a fruit. The wall of the ovary, what is there? Wall of the ovary later becomes wall of the fruit. The wall of the fruit is what? Okay, pericarp. Pericarp. Okay, so the fruits can be fleshy or dry fruits. The fruits can be fleshy fruits or it can be dry fruits. Fleshy means it will have a juicy part. ಯಾವ ಫ್ರೂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಜ್ಯೂಸಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಜ್ಯೂಸಿ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಫ್ಲೆಶಿ ಅಂದರೆ ವಿಚ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಜ್ಯೂಸಿ ಡ್ರೈ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ವಿದೌಟ್ ಜ್ಯೂಸಿ ಡ್ರೈ ಫ್ರೂಟ್ ಸೊ ಫ್ಲೆಶಿ ಫ್ರೂಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಂಗೋ ಆರೆಂಜ್ mango, orange, guava, all these are fleshy fruits. Fleshy fruits, and some fruits can be dry fruits like groundnut, mustard, and all. Mustard, mustard, which is ಸಾಸಿವೆ ನಾವು ಸೆಸೇಮ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ ಸೆಸೇಮ್ ಆಯಿಲ್ ಸಾಸಿವೆ ಎಣ್ಣೆ. So some fruits will be fleshy containing juicy part and some will be dry fruits like walnut and mustard. You can take many examples. Now fruits are again classified into mainly two types, that is true fruits and false fruits. I think in morphology of flowering plants first year PUC already have learned all the types of fruits. You know already very well. Mainly two types. Based on from what it develops. ಯಾವುದರಿಂದ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಫ್ರೂಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರಿಂದ two types. Like true fruits and false fruits. True fruit means if ovary becomes a fruit, then it is ovary develops a fruit, then or fruit is developed by the ovary, then it is fruit. Usually what happens? Ovary produces fruit. Then it is true fruit. If ovary doesn't produce a fruit is produced by other part of the flower, then it will grow false fruit. For example, true fruit you can take many examples. What about false fruit, which is not produced by the ovary? It is not produced by the ovary. Like you can take example of strawberry, cashew, apple, all this. Strawberry, cashew, apple, all these are false fruits because they are produced by thalamus. thalamus produces a fruit. What is the condition to become true fruit? Ovary should produce a fruit. If other than the ovary, if any part of the flower produces fruit, then it will be called false fruit. Okay, I hope you understand. And thalamus produces fruit in case of strawberry, cashew, and apple. That is why it is called false fruit. Okay, let us see the diagram of these fruits. What you can draw along with me. That's why I am drawing step by step. Apple. When you cut apple, apple when you cut, you see these little seeds there. Black color seeds you find. Then what is this part? The white color fleshy what you see. This part, what do you eat? That is thalamus. That is not the ovary. Thalamus produces fruit here. That is why it is a false fruit. Okay, you can take example of you can take other examples also, like in cashew or in strawberry. If you see strawberry, if you take example of strawberry, when you cut strawberry, strawberry. So if you see strawberry, it is also thalamus. The apple type of fruit in apple is called pome. Pome is a type of fruit. Then strawberry is called akene. Akene type of fruit. Akene type of fruit is strawberry. When akene type of fruit strawberry is produced by thalamus, not ovary. So it is false fruit. Even apple is also formed by thalamus. That is why it is a false fruit. In simple terms, if ovary produces fruit, it is true fruit. If other than ovary, something else produces, then it is a false fruit. So, you understood no, what I am saying? Yes. Next, there are some fruits. Usually, in most of the plants, fruits are produced after fertilization. Do you agree? Fruits are produced after fertilization in most of the plants. But some plants are that which produces fruits without fertilization. We already know this. It is called parthenocarpic fruits. You already know what is the meaning of parthenocarpic fruits. In some plants, fruits are produced without fertilization. That is called parthenocarpic fruit. And these fruits will be seedless fruits. Because seeds are produced only after fertilization. Here fertilization doesn't happen only. Fruits are produced without fertilization. That is why fruit will be there, but seeds will not be there. Because seeds will be produced only after fertilization. Here fertilization is not happening. So if fruits are produced without fertilization, it is called parthenocarpic fruit. These fruits will be seedless fruits. That's why you get in the market seedless grapes and all you get in the market. So that is all parthenocarpic fruit. Fruit produced without fertilizers. Artificially also you can produce this parthenocarpic fruit. You already know plant hormones you have learned. Like some plant hormones like auxins and all. Okay, if you spray on plant, it can produce parthenocarpic fruits. So naturally also it can happen. Naturally also it can happen or it can be by applying plant hormones. So by two ways you can produce parthenocarpic fruit, seedless fruits. That is, one is not natural. Naturally it is happening in the plant. We are not doing anything. Second one is forcefully we can produce seedless fruits by spraying plant hormones. By applying plant hormones also we can produce uh, parthenocarpic fruit. So part of the seed is still remaining. So already 30 minutes is over. So in next class we will discuss remaining part of the seed. Okay. So keep watching my classes. Thank you.